Definitely more of an open architecture towards the sub-custody network. So when you look historically at the products that sub-custody have offered, maybe they've been quite consolidated into bundled components. Where looking to the future, definitely see more of a view of an open architecture, optionality and unbundled solutions that really then can be determined to what adds value for each different client segment. I think you see an evolution to components becoming maybe commoditized. Obviously, we see the developments of Target 2 for securities and different regulations, looking at settlement being a component. And actually now it's about going past taking transactions as a consolidated set of products and actually maybe dealing with the settlement activity and then looking at the value add. So certain regulations bring in different concepts towards what that value add is for a client, and maybe you look at CSDR and you see the impacts that can have on FAR regimes, and you look at what the lending product and the importance of the lending product could be. I think in looking at optionality and opening up architecture and unbundling products, you also then bring concepts of maybe not just products but also services or risks, and actually a different view from a custodial perspective on what needs to be priced applicably towards the client and what the value add is for that client. I think by default this is one of the evolutions of custody now, that you have the need to look at transparency. Before, historically, you would take products and maybe then products would be bundled together in a price. Where now, with the different types of regulation, not just about liabilities, but actually what is the service that you're offering, and is it an evolution into risks, intraday funding, different types of liquidity, brings transparency, because as an operating model, you'll wish to actually show that transparency to your client, as well as from a client perspective, there truly can be identification of what they are paying for. From the views we have at Deutsche Bank and myself from the sub-custody perspective, then these are commodities that actually do warrant a price with them. And now maybe T2S is the trigger that actually that transparency can become real, can be seen and can be priced accordingly, whether that be from a risk perspective, a liquidity or an intraday funding. I think one of the most important things is, like any industry, when you look to price something through transparency, it's ensuring that your client can interpret that pricing and understand that pricing and value what it is that you're actually pricing. So most definitely probably do see an evolution that some of the services that are not product componentized, maybe around intraday funding and risk, will be services in the future that the sub-custody network will look to charge for. Looking at the question from a single market perspective, that will be quite limited in what value add will be to the sub-custody network. Looking at sub-custody and that word network and the breadth of different markets, I think the importance of the underlying market differences that still exist post-settlement and in a diverse range across different regions is extremely important. And really it now is about looking at that value add service, which always will have the need for local market expertise, because although there's harmonisation going on, there's still a lot of fragmentation between legal jurisdictions and tax implications, and some of these regulations are obviously not addressing at the issuer level, that there's still going to be a great benefit in the actual nuances of each market. But I think it expands a little bit further than just looking at a single market.